Hello YouTube, DonTheCrown here, and today let's talk about Sandlord. I personally was kind of disappointed with this mechanic last season and not very happy with it. And I still kind of like it. I don't know why. It's kind of annoying to me, but we've kind of maybe found a way to maybe make some money with this. And I kind of want to give you guys a little bit of my insight of what appears to be working for me right now. Now, this is a shipment that I literally just got right now. This is a shipment where I sent out like 4.8 million resources all in one big go. And if you don't know, basically when you send out a shipment, you get two sets of resources back. Your first little section is for fulfilling the order. Like there's a little requirement that they have for like whatever region you send to, like send us a whole bunch of like sandbars or whatever. And then the second part is based off of your actual trade reward. And this is based off of like how much total value you sent. And this is really like where the big bucks are going to be for the most part. And let's kind of give you an idea. Now for this particular trade, this was the fourth one that we did today, which we'll talk about here in a second. But this is pretty much what we got in terms back. So we got 147 raw, 500 FE in this tier 7 plant here. It's pretty rare. 800 FE back in terms of tier 6 plant, which is this one right here. 52 in the tier 4 or tier 5, sorry. We got 232 in the tier 4 plant, which is the one up here. And then 75, 23, and then 16. And then in terms of ember prices, this is kind of like very close to what we have. Compasses and cards, 8 and 9 FE. Sometimes you get some good cards out here. But for the total, this was a 1,243 FE shipment that pretty much just got just for slapping a Sandlord compass in a ton of my maps as I was just going through and playing. Had an open slot. The Sandlord compasses are probably about 3 FE. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go up, especially because people are going to probably start investing into a endgame belt where they're going to need some endgame blends on their belt, which costs a lot more stuff in the end. So this is pretty much the first shipment and the first shipment we'll talk about. And this is basically what the supply value looked like when I sent it over. Now, when I first sent this, it actually procced my pet. I do have the pet at level 3. And so we got an instant shipment back. This one didn't do as well, but kind of see what's going on. It had like 4 of these nice little fossils here, which is pretty nice. And then I sent it again, just immediately, and the pet procced again. Which, you know, got a little bit less returns on this particular one, but it was still pretty nice, you know, just free here for the pet. But then it procced one more time. So yeah, today was a pretty good day in terms of Sandlord. We got another 3 of these here. So it's like 750 of just this. And then this final shipment you're seeing here is the 4th one. And I just want to talk about my strategy about this really quick. And basically just kind of show you what I've been doing. So the whole idea here is I'm sending everything to Jungle Island, really because this is relatively easy to level up and gives you a moderate amount of gear and commodities. This one down here is also moderate, but I think this is just for the order. So like this part here, so it doesn't really truly matter. Sand Island over here, I think like a lot of times the like special rewards were a little bit lower, but I think you could do Sand Island. You could probably do Jungle Island. It really doesn't truly matter. Jungle Island is just what I've been doing. It's been working for me. Whether or not there's any difference between that and sand probably has to be tested, but I've been sending to Jungle Island and I just put all of my resources in there and I try to make sure that I meet the order requirement first. So whatever this is up here, I try to make sure that I meet that. I don't have any of the green bars right now because I have like all my workers making dark steel ingots, so I can refresh the orders here until I hit something that I actually have, like dark steel ingots, for example. And, you know, I have only had this out for like 2 hours. So we've already gone and got about another 500,000. So we're trying to wait a little bit in terms of getting this back and trying building this back up like over the next day. And then sending out another like 5 million trade or something like that. Because you just really want these big trades. And if you have the pet and it procs, that's really staying great. And my airship for this, I pretty much just put in the best units that I have, whatever tier 7s. I've picked up some more tier 7s since then. Really just want ones that have like additional like reward and stuff. But really like I don't think that the stats down here at the bottom truly matter all that much. because these reference order reward quantity, which is the part that is like this part up here, which is always going to be really, really small. The only time this is ever big is if you manage to level up Utopia Island, but like leveling up Utopia is like a whole season long type of thing. Probably not really worth investing in. For the other workers in the base, I pretty much always spread out on the food because the food is going to be very limited. As you can see, I'm chewing through a ton of fresh meat here, and in about 9 hours, we're going to be out of fresh meat. In about, I think 10 hours here, we're going to be out of this. In, you know, it looks like 5 hours, we're going to run out of this. And then I think there's another 5 hours here. So typically you just need to spread all of these out. And if you go to assign a worker and it has a little shining number, that means that this worker is, you know, particularly good at this job. I try to, for these guys, I try to look for ones that have minus wages, because you pretty much always run out of stuff from this particular part of the thing, because it requires you to get to materials from running maps. Over here, I have everybody just working on one thing because I want to be able to hit the requirements for the order as well. I don't know if it's really important, so I just thrown everybody on dark steel because I was able to get mostly everybody a green number here, which makes them like a little bit more efficient or cheaper while they're doing it. And then over here I have people like spread out still, because I just didn't have very many people that were like good at different things. And so I think it's just fine if I just aim to hit dark steel on my rolls. It's gonna be relatively easy to do, and I just push out as much material as possible here. Ideally, like endgame, we'd have like probably level 8 of all one material, but you kind of have to go and see like what is the material I have the most of. When you're doing trades, it doesn't really matter which material you pick. Basically, like you can consider that this one here has like a value of 1. These aren't the actual numbers, but you produce like 4 of them in a time period, and then, or let's say 16 of these, and then you produce 8 of this one down here, but it has a value of 2. And then you produce 4 of these ones, but it has a value of 4. And then you produce like 1 of this one, but it has a value of 16. And so it's all equal to each other. There's none that are better or worse than the other. It's really just like you want to have your workers aligned so that they can make the things that they're the best at, and it just makes it like pushing out the most materials as possible. And so this one over here, you want to be like as efficient and pump out as much value of like per hour as you can, because like your gold is practically infinitely available and you can't like really, you know, get more from that. Whereas over here in the logistics department, it kind of feels like you're kind of limited on how much food and stuff you're going to get, especially if you're not like 100% focused on farming the coins back up. So that's pretty good. Last thing I'll talk about really quick is this part over here. You only have 200 worker slots. And so it is relatively important that you go over here and you clear out your workers that are lower level. You can even set it up for auto dismissal. One thing I would recommend is not setting your aviators to get knocked out, which we'll talk about here in a second. We can just go through here and we can go like batch dismiss a bunch of these. This will actually give you coins as well. But like anything here that's like below level 5 or even level 6 now for me is pretty, you know, get out of here type of stuff. Now, the reason we want to keep our level 1 aviators is for the following, or the low level guys. So you can see I have a crews of level 1, and what I can do is I can send them over here, and I can like send a teeny tiny little amount, right? I think you need to have 120 supply value here. So we can go and maybe put a teeny tiny amount of whatever we want. And we just send it on off. And the reason we send this is because we want to get more order refreshes. And so when I send this guy, it doesn't matter that this isn't the right thing. I'm going to get one more order refresh, which is going to allow us to align with when we're sending stuff out. We can re-roll basically what we're looking for over and over again. And, you know, this little ship we send out here is taking 12 coins per hour, and it'll be back super duper fast. Pretty easy to do. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I do have a video about how to like get started with Sandlord. Pretty much do need to put this on your map, either with the compass or with like setting it up on the void chart. And there are some breakpoints where you do need to go and reach a certain level on the boss conquest, which is just, you know, kind of breakpoints for that. And leveling up each of the respective areas will make it so that you can find those workers in the corresponding areas. I need to like basically go and do deep space in order to find level 8 workers. I haven't done deep space yet. We're still just farming profound. But hopefully this video helped you out and maybe gave you a little bit of insight of what to do with Sandlord, and maybe we can see some more Sandlord farmers out there. See you again soon. Later. Come by the stream.